Oh no.
Missing.
Greg?
Missing.
I thought this was a duet.
Missing.
Oh, so you're just gonna sing all the parts? Those are not the right sounds.
Missing.
Can you hear me?
Missing. Oh, missing.
Bonk.
Welcome to Miss Thing. I'm Greg.
And I'm Tim, and this is a podcast that celebrates and appreciates the missed things of the past, present, and future.
Yeah, in every episode, we take a key moment from our Miss Thing storied career and do what we are most skilled at, which is make it all about us.
And the restraining order is still in effect.
Yeah, I am currently still studying abroad, aka
In Guantanamo.
staying at my in-laws' house on the East Coast. So we're still coming at you from different coasts, and yeah, the restraining order has not lifted yet. So you'll have to bear with us for at least another week.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, it's that time of year again.
Hummingbird season?
Oh, yeah, it's hummingbird season, first and foremost. You need to be on the lookout by you.
I know. Well, you can see behind me, but yeah.
No, it's that time of year again. It's Cannes standing ovation time.
Oh my God, I know.
Yeah, it's so as frequent deadline readers, sort of this is the time of year where basically every headline details not anything about the movies at Cannes except for the length of the standing ovation that they receive. The timing has sort of gotten out of control in recent years.
Yeah, but it feels like this year people aren't as enthused because I feel like last year it was like 20 minutes, 14 minutes, and then this year's it's like 6.5. And you're like,
I know.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, are they being really hard on the films, or have we just like entered a new like era? Like we're getting more reasonable with like the length. It just doesn't seem to bode very well for the films there this year.
Well, it's also like we eventually usually do see the films and like they're not worthy of 20 minutes standing ovation. So maybe it's a cultural thing where it's like you have to take, it's like it's gay math where you're like, okay, so if it's 20 minutes, really that's maybe 20 seconds of a clap, and even that's long. Yeah.
Well, the French, they take their time, when it comes to anything. So, yeah. But I am a little surprised that they stay on their feet for that long and sort of give respect to a piece.
You're being so psychic because this is going to come back in one of my stories today. Well, just this certain nationality that we're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, I
little
can't.
tease, Dita Von Tease.
Since it's currently Cannes standing ovation season, I wanted to ask you, how long would the standing ovation be for a few movies if they were to play at Cannes today?
Love. Okay.
Okay. First one. Mean Girls.
Oh, wait. Okay, just to make sure that I get like, it's not like we know like it's replaying there, but it's like the first time we've ever seen it.
Yeah, it's like if it was debuting, this movie was debuting at Cannes this year, how long would the standing ovation for it be?
Okay.
So the first one is Mean Girls.
I mean, literally 24 hours.
Yeah, a full day, a full French day.
24 hours.
24 hours for Mean Girls. Okay. Yeah. Next one. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Okay. This is one near and dear to my heart. Okay, I'm going to say a solid hour. A solid hour alone for the dress. The yellow dress.
Totally. Okay, an hour
that she's literally wearing at the premiere.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they do. They have to pause the movie actually, like when you see the yellow dress, because then that gets an hour of applause. And then at the end, how long do you think they get?
I mean, at the end, I think it's a solid 20 minutes plus they all come out with like Frost Yourself diamonds and give everyone in the audience huge fucking diamonds.
Yeah, I also think they get an hour for the lady who goes, "Hey, Frost you," who's off screen.
And she's somehow in like the background. You see her just sobbing. Did you see Kate Winslet's daughter was sobbing? She's like the lead, I guess, of Wes Anderson's new movie. And she was like fully sobbing. And the deadline was like, and an actress sobs, because I don't think they like realized it's like, yeah, it's like her daughter with her first husband, Mia Triplehorn is her name. And I guess she's the new girl on the scene, the new Nepo baby to watch out for.
Yeah. Watch out. I will be watching. That's for sure. Okay, next one. She's the man.
Oh, 7 minutes.
Yeah, a humble sort of response to that one.
Yeah.
Next, Shrek.
I mean, Shrek is one of the best animated films of all time, so I'm going to say 30 minutes.
30 minutes for Shrek. Yeah, okay. Julie and Julia.
Okay, we're going to go with 14 minutes.
14 minutes, yeah. Yeah, they love this sort of like split screen story.
Well, also because Julia Child is French, right? Or did she just cook French cuisine?
It's actually impossible to know.
Okay.
Next, Showgirls.
Well, the French love nudity, so I'm going to say 47 minutes.
Yeah, they're very sexually liberated there.
Yeah. I mean, remember that movie, like, what was the 3D movie where that, like, it was like Joe Gaspard's, like, do you remember that movie where it's like you literally see, like, someone coming at the camera?
Joe Gaspar. I think it's like Gasparno. Something, but yeah, and it's like
Gasparnoésferatu.
Totally. Oh, by the way, side note, I love Lorde. We both really love Lorde on this podcast. But what I love most about Lorde is her full commitment to moving like Nosferatu. She's really,
well, really... that's her new thing. Her new thing is like, that's what this album is, which we're obviously going to do her. But like, she's now like gender, she still identifies as a woman, but she has a huge part of like man energy that like went viral because she's like, so Chappell Roan talked to her and she was like, so are you non-binary? She's like, no, but like, I do feel like I'm both. And then her new single, which I think will be out by the time this comes out, is called Man of the Year, which is like how she identifies as a man.
Oh, interesting. Okay, Miss and Mr. Thing.
Exactly.
Okay, well, last but not least, This Is Me Now.
The documentary, right? It's the documentary?
No, the visual album, companion piece to the album This Is Me Now.
I'm going to say that Cannes is actually already over. And she's still getting her flowers. It's still going. It's weeks later. We're in June, and they're still there. Like people are actually like being held hostage, and they're like, "Wait, can I go to sleep? Can I eat?" And they're like, "No, we still have to keep clapping for this."
Oh, so they're being held hostage. They're not voluntarily clapping? You think
No, they can't help themselves. They literally can't help themselves. They're like, "I really want to stop, but I can't because I love this film so much."
Yeah, so Cannes is over. It actually just like stays going until next year's Cannes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's beautiful, and I agree. By the
way, until she comes back with "This Is Me Now," and then again.
J-Lo, if you're listening, please. We're all clamoring for it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the game.
I love it. Oh, my God.
Oh, good. Well, I know what we can do next, and that's move right on to Dodd Mom Sauce, a.k.a. Doll of the Day.
Mother of the Moment.
Sister of the Second.
Our most famous segment.
Yeah, our first and most famous segment where we take a person, place, or thing in the culture that we are currently super obsessed with. And I would love to go first.
Please.
Okay, so as you know, not to be like the biggest cliche on the planet, but I have two Pomeranians. Two cute, adorable, tiny Pomeranians. What?
It's kind of, well, I'm just like, is this the first time that you're acknowledging that on the pod, which would be crazy? I know you've talked about your dogs. I don't know if you've actually like talked about how they're Pomeranians. That's crazy.
Yeah, maybe not, but I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, it makes sense as a gay
Mhm.
man with two dogs, they would
Mhm.
be one of the really tiny breeds. So, but
Mhm.
there is a Pomeranian that I've been seeing online that wears sunglasses and skateboards around,
Oh my
and I
God.
am just obsessed with this thing. And he's so like rocker. I think he lives in New York, obviously,
Mhm.
and he is so skilled on that skateboard. And like dogs, they don't love skateboards. Like my dogs are
Mhm.
terrified. We live right near a skate park. They won't go near it, you know? But this dog, I'm just super obsessed with it. I think it's like Kori on TikTok and Instagram. I don't know, but I just like fucking love this thing. And it's like so hardcore.
Kori, by the way, not to get into it, but Kori is such a straight skateboarder. Kori is not a gay name.
I completely agree. Even though it's kind of girl, it is not a gay name.
Yeah, Kori is someone who is like normally you wouldn't go for someone that skinny, but somehow because they're a skateboarder, like they're super hot.
Oh
Do you know what
my
I'm talking about?
God. Yeah, Corey is lanky boots.
Yes.
Like the longest Gumby ass guy you've ever seen.
His jeans like literally go so low, you're about to see his shaft, and then
Yeah,
it stops, and you're kind of like, oh my God, Corey, but you're so straight.
I know. And flattest ass you've ever seen on a human.
Oh my God. Makes us feel good, which is saying something, you know. We're like,
Totally not
wow,
an,
I guess we've got butts then.
yeah, not an ounce of body fat on Corey, but would fuck him so hard. Anyways,
Yeah. And also the hair is like kind of like always like standing straight up or like bedhead, you know?
yeah, like flat, like it's standing
Mhm.
straight up as straight as hair can
Mhm.
be.
Yeah.
It's like really thin kind of too,
Yeah.
but
Ab-
like full head of hair, but like up, you know?
Absolutely. And that is now what I'm picturing for this dog.
Oh yeah, well, that is so Pomeranian as well, you know,
Yeah.
as their hair
Mhm.
sticks straight out. So listen, all I know is that dog is cool as hell,
Yeah.
and I want his sunglass collection, and that's
And that
that.
dog is definitely getting so much, you know, ass.
Tail.
Yeah, thank you. I was trying. I couldn't actually rail it in, but rail it in. Wow.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Well,
my mind today. Yeah.
yeah, well, this is the problem with being me studying abroad, you know, and the time
Yeah.
difference, and
Hmm.
yeah, I'm working on getting my passport renewed so I can get back. Anyways, Tim, do you have a Don Mom sauce?
Okay, so I was in Houston this past weekend, visiting my dear friend, our dear friend Adolfo,
Thank you so much
and
for including me in that.
mhm.
Not the trip, but yeah,
Well, you're abroad right now.
of course.
Um, and we did a day trip to Galveston, Texas, which is like a beachy town.
I've heard
Um,
of that. Yeah,
yes,
but there's beach in Texas.
there's beach, and yeah, there's a lot of hurricanes actually. This where we went is like it's like kind of sad because like all the houses are like now built in a certain way, and they're all relatively new because of how often like hurricanes hit it.
Oh,
Um,
interesting. Are they all on stilts? One of my favorite things for a house to be on.
it's
And a
literally all
human.
of them are on stilts. It's
Okay, that's kind of
yeah.
fun.
It is, but it's like sad because they're all like I don't know, very like I don't know,
It's a
small
little.
and like yeah. And also they don't feel like the stilts doesn't seem like it would actually do anything. Like if anything, it just feels like easier to blow over, but what do I know?
Yeah, it
Um
seems like way less sturdy and quite Jenga in a way. But you know,
it
who am
literally
I?
looks like toothpicks. Like it's like or like popsicle sticks are holding it up. And I'm like, don't you need like a couple like they need to be thicker wood. It's like such skinny these stilt houses. It literally feels like these houses are on high heels. And it's not.
Yeah, it's like maybe, yeah, maybe at least like use some steel or something. Like that
And
seems a bit more sturdy to
yeah.
me.
And then they try to like make it less sad by like all the houses are kind of like rainbow colored. Like they're such bright. All of the
Right.
each house has its own color. And it's like, see, it's not these like these houses on stilts are fun, but it's it's just kind of like sad.
Yeah,
Um
knowing that utter devastation is sort of coming for them at any given moment.
Exactly.
Mhm.
But we were there and we were walking through this like state park, which was great. And then we went to go to lunch. We go to this restaurant And we're sitting down, and this waitress is like slowly taking our orders. And the waitress slowly becomes my dad mom's sauce because she's like, at first, like, you know, when you're ordering and you're kind of like, you're not even being slow, but you're like, oh, I think I'm going to have like the Caesar salad with, and she's like, the croutons. And she just keeps, she keeps like,
yeah, well, croutons, sure. On a Caesar, yeah. Thanks.
but she is finishing everyone's sentences like before you finish, like, it's like, and then I'll have it with the chicken. And you're kind of like, so it's being, you're like, okay, like, let me finish my sentence, please.
You're like, ma'am, you're being so me. Like, I'm the one that cuts off people before the end of their sentence.
Absolutely. And
Not the other way around.
And so at first I'm like, okay, this girl, what an icon, loving her. She goes, she gets our drinks, comes back. And as she's like coming back, like we're slowly, this one guy that I met this weekend, one of Adolfo's friends, is like, I won't get into it. Basically, there's like a family member of his is sick, and so he's going through it right now. And so he's telling us about it at the meal. And she comes, she like can clearly tell as she's doing it that like this is like a serious moment, you know, like that we're all like being there for this guy.
Yeah, maybe not now. You know,
maybe not now. And as
the name of our autobiography,
maybe not now. And then again. Featuring
yeah, J-Lo. That should be J-Lo's next album.
Yeah, maybe not now. If not now, when? So she's giving us like the drinks, and then in that moment, it's her only moment of self-awareness where she like actually does leave. She leaves for like, I'm not kidding you, like 10 seconds. She comes back and she starts like giving us the silverware, and she's like, and at this moment, the friend starts like welling up talking about it. And like literally one friend like goes to grab his hand to like try to like, you know, comfort him. And she's like, I'm so sorry to interrupt. she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to drop these off right now. And it's like one of those things where it's like, you actually don't even need to say the words, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Like you could just very quietly like put the silverware on the table and leave. And you're aware of what's the tone of what's happening too. And so this one friend, another guy that we're with is like actively getting annoyed because he's like, what are you doing? And then, but she quickly leaves, comes back. Like, I want to say 20 minutes later, the guy is still, you know, not in a good place. And literal, I'm not kidding you. He had like tears coming. It was like a sad moment what he's talking about.
Right.
She looks at the guy with the tears and she goes, did you want a refill of that Pepsi? And
not to mention the utter devastation of them only serving Pepsi. I've come to learn that you know you should be a Coke establishment. If you're not, then
which is probably why he was crying actually. Because, but so he's like literally, she's talking to the man who's crying, and he also had. It's like one of those things where it's like he had 3 sips maybe. Like it's so obviously still more than 3/4 filled.
Right. She just really needed to talk.
She really needed to talk. And he was like, no, I'm good. And then leaves or whatever, comes back. And then another guy's talking. Literally, he's just like in the middle of some story or whatever. She comes and she was just like, she goes, oh, here's your burger, sir. Oh my God, sir. Ah, God, I probably just made you feel so old. What are you, like 40?
Oh no!
Just like, and this is the guy that was already annoyed her. I'm not kidding you. Like the 2 other people on both sides of him, I was sitting across from him, had to grab his hand and hold it down because he was like about to explode as this woman starts like, he was also young 30s too. It was literally, this woman has no self-awareness. She was the actual, like the inspiration for that season 2 opener of Fleabag, the waitress that gets punched in the face, you know?
Weirdly, I don't remember that, but I can sort of envision. Wait, I need to know, how old was she? Because I feel like since we're in Texas, I feel like she's so sugar. You know, like, hey, sugar.
She is so sugar. She is giving the vibe that she is like kind of like an like 80-year-old woman who can get away with anything. She's in fact a 22-year-old. Like so
young.
So Southern, so young, but she's like acting like wise behind her years. She thinks she is. Anyways, she the lack of self-awareness and interrupting obviously reminded me of us, our pod.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, obviously a Dod Mom sauce, I probably would have, it would have been a little flea bag in that situation. I cannot handle people like that, knowing that I am myself like that, you know. It's tough to see us in others, as you know. Well, anyways, we wish her so well. I think I'll be booking a flight to Galveston soon, because I'd like to see,
Like a house on
I'd like to
stilts.
visit her, and I'd like to see the house on high heels.
Yeah.
I love that feature.
And with that,
Yeah.
let's take
Time for a break.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Welcome back. And it's time for our Miss Thing of the Week. This is
Okay.
a big one.
This woman has had a decades-long career and is in the middle of a like huge bright spot in her 70s. Like,
Yeah. I mean, she's like, I feel like, first of all, truly one of the funniest people that has ever been in anything. I mean, always brings so much hilarity to every project, but like, I feel like she's more famous and probably more like revered than ever before.
oh, I think before it was kind of like, oh yeah, I love her. And now you're like, oh, I almost said her name. Let's just say her name.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
time. Our Miss Thing this week is
Catherine
Catherine O'Hara. I mean, the mom in Home Alone.
Literally, like I think like when you think of like movie mom, you think of her now. Like truly definition.
The ultimate movie mom. Right now she's in the studio, which is about to have its finale. It's such an amazing show on Apple TV. There's like one episode, it's the second episode, it's called The Oneer, and it's basically it's like all one shot, like the entire episode, which is, it's such a like a famous trick, but she's just so funny, and she plays this studio executive that's like has the craziest hair and the craziest taste, and she's just like a total shark, but she's all she's amazing.
And she's also in The Last of Us and is a total scene stealer in that, where she plays the therapist. And it is literally like you think like one thing about her, and then guess what? A whole other thing opens up. And she is like perfectly cast because I haven't seen her do a ton of drama before.
Yeah, well, I feel like she's being so Robin Williams, where like she's known for being funny,
Yeah.
but she's really got that sort of like depth, that famous like comedian thing where all of a sudden they start doing dramatic and you're like, oh my God, I never thought of her that way.
Yeah. She's also just like, okay, so to list the credits, other than The Last of Us, the studio, there's like she is so blockbuster coded in the sense of like the amount of movies that she's been in, like all the movies that I wanted to see at Blockbuster, like Home Fries with Drew Barrymore, Orange County, literally
The Christopher Guest movies, literally all of those. Beetlejuice,
yep.
and its recent sequel, Beetlejuice. Which I don't know if you've seen it, but there is one scene there. That's a movie that I really enjoyed it, but
I did not like it. I'm so sorry to say. I love Catherine O'Hara, but I thought it was terrible.
well, I'm convinced that her, Winona Ryder, and Jenna Ortega, even though they had scenes together, were never actually shooting on the same day.
That would make sense. That would make sense.
I think they all did one shots of them. There was one scene where they're like outside of like a cemetery or something, and the three of them are in it, and like they're all in separate shots. And I was like, wait a second, I don't think they're doing this scene together. I'd like to find that and sort of just, investigate further.
That movie feels so everyone was on a different page. I know people loved it, but I don't know. I was missing something.
It's fun. It's really fun, especially at first, but then it really goes off the rails. Like the ending, like what?
Yeah. And also the other thing I love about her is, and maybe she has gotten work done, but she is aging naturally in a way that I feel like is to her benefit, that like now she is like at the like so many actresses get so much work done that then when they're like supposed to play a woman of a certain age, they like can't believably do it. And now Catherine O'Hara is getting all those roles.
Totally. Like she still looks like herself. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
even though like her hair has gotten like a little bit more gray or whatever,
Yeah.
like she's still got like that tinge of red. So
Yeah.
she's always like reminding you who she is.
Also, she I'm forgetting the name of it, but what's the Canadian SNL like SCTV? I want to say,
Never heard
and
of
she's
that.
it's like the like before SNL started, she was like one of the original Canadian like Canadian's version of SNL, and it was like her, Eugene Levy, so many people who ended up going to SNL, and like whenever the like old school SNL people talk about like who their inspiration is, they say Catherine O'Hara.
You absolutely just blew my mind because I completely forgot she was Canadian. She should be like the president of Canada.
I think she like I could be fully making this up, but like I do think that like if you get big in Canada, like I honestly think Eugene Levy has this, and she should if she doesn't. You get like your name on like money or like certain coins. Like they will literally. I remember Eugene Levy talking about is it Levy talking
Levy, I
about it,
think.
and
You get your face on money.
or maybe it's no, not money. It's sorry, what am I talking about? Stamps.
Oh, stamp. I was like, well, I'm going to need to go to Canada, get
Yeah,
myself
yeah.
the Catherine O'Hara coin.
I know. And honestly, though, she should. That's the queen of the North.
Absolutely. I agree. Do we have anything else on Catherine that we want to, talk about? I mean, I could go on and on.
I mean, the way that she screams Kevin.
Iconic. I mean, I will be I will be walking around the house and like just randomly, like if something goes missing, I will slap my cheeks. Kevin.
Yeah. And
Kevin,
also,
by the way, gay name or straight name?
I'm going to say straight.
I agree. 100% Kevin is straight. And
I know a couple gay Kevins, but there's the straight Kevins I know supersede them. And the straight Kevins are, I'm sorry to say, smelly.
oh God, yeah. I had to think about it, but it's true.
There's
Also-
something about they should shower a little bit more. I'm so sorry.
Right, and no natural deodorant, please. Like
Yes.
you need the hard stuff.
And
You need
sometimes
the aluminum pits.
they're always kind of wearing sweatpants and like no, listen, I love sweatpants too, but it's like maybe just like take a shower, like put on some jeans and get out of the house and your life will change.
I will say that they're also really skinny and big swinging dicks
Oh.
in the
okay.
sweatpants, I think. Yeah,
Okay,
Kevin, that's why
I
they're a
love-
little
yeah.
lazy. They're kind of like the straight
Everyone
tops.
comes to them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
messy rooms.
Definitely. And the girls put up with a lot because of it. They're like, but
You know, I can't leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We've been talking about Catherine O'Hara. Honestly, we could talk about her. She's so iconic and so legendary and such a decades-long career that we could talk about her forever. But I want to talk about myself selfishly. I'm going to go first, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. So how I think about Catherine O'Hara, I'm not going to stray too far, which is obviously I think of Home Alone. Because how that's like the best movie of the 90s, which is saying something because the 90s have the best movies of all time, in my opinion.
Honestly, it's the best movie of 2025 even. It's like it's the best movie of all time.
Directed by the best Christopher Columbus that there is, the only good Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, certainly the superior Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tangent, sorry, but where is
Please.
Christopher Columbus, the director, to
The
clarify?
director.
Because I'm saying, like, he did the first two Harry Potters. He did Home Alones and 1 and 2. And then you just, like, disappeared. I think he did other stuff, but I'm like, regardless, come back.
Listen, maybe he's doing like his namesake. He's sailing the ocean blue.
But come back, okay?
Yeah.
And come on the pod.
Come on, Christopher Columbus, please.
Please.
You don't know we're future
Yeah.
Golden Globe winners.
Yeah, you can direct our first feature. Well, we'll direct it, but you can.
Yeah,
you can be our
we-
mentor.
Yeah, you won't have much creative control, but you can put your name on it, and you won't get paid.
You know what he doesn't get enough credit for? Great at casting children.
great at directing children.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, how do you direct children? I mean, they have got a mind of their own.
But also just like finding like the stars. Like there's so, you know what I mean? Like how can you tell which one's going to be a star? He can.
That's so honestly, you're so right. Christopher Columbus, we need you now more than ever.
Ever.
But please continue.
Okay. So, Catherine O'Hara makes me think of Home Alone, and that makes me think of a time where I found myself home alone my very first summer in Los Angeles. I was interning at our future network and CBS, not the pharmacy, but the network.
Sure.
And I was staying with one of my friends from college parents in Manhattan Beach, and they were like they were taking a day trip, so it was like Saturday night, and they were gonna leave, and they basically were like, for whatever reason, even though they lived in such a nice house, there was like they gave me like a key so that like if they were like leaving for the night, I could get back in. But they went on this day trip and they accidentally took the spare key, and there was no like garage code or any way. So it's like if I were to leave the house, like I wouldn't be able to get back in. And it was only for one night, but they were like, "I'm so sorry, like we forgot to like we took it with us, and so if you leave, like there's no way of you getting back in the house tonight."
Oh my God, you're being so psychic. Continue.
Okay. So, it was a Saturday night. I had been here for the summer. I had at CBS this other intern who was also gay. We had become best friends that summer. Let's just call him Pierre. He's from a certain country, but for the sanctity of that country, I won't get into it. But this man's name is Pierre, and Pierre and I were like inseparable at CBS. We like did everything together. We always ate lunch. We didn't always get to hang out on the weekends because I lived in Manhattan Beach, which might as well have been like in a different state.
Yeah, you were studying abroad that summer.
Basically. And then it was like, he was basically like, come out tonight. Like, let's go. Like, we've never been to a gay bar. Let's go to our first gay bar together. And I was like, that sounds really fun. But like, if I go out, I will have to like sleep over at your place because there's no way of me getting back into this house. And he was like, you can of course stay over at my boyfriend. Like he had a house with his boyfriend. And he was like, stay over with us. And I was like, are you sure it's like not an inconvenient thing for you guys? And he was like, absolutely not. Like, come, bring your stuff. So I was like, okay. I like took my stuff and then knew that I was like, if I leave this house, I won't be able to get back in until the next day.
Yeah, you packed a go bag, your wheelie backpack to bring to the gay bar.
Absolutely. I go to Pierre's house. We're pre-gaming, and then we decide to go to this bar. We literally take a taxi to get there. It's the days of taxi. Yeah. So we took a taxi. We get out. As we're waiting in the line, I realize that I left my wallet in my go bag. And so I was like, there's no way of me getting into this bar. I had just turned 21 too, so it's like so annoying because you're like, I can finally use my ID.
Right. Even though the girl in Galveston would think you look 40 plus.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But then Pierre and his boyfriend was like, and their friends were like, okay, you know what? Just like we'll go ahead and then we'll pass back, and use one of ours.
The famous trick, the famous underage trick, usually.
Exactly. And which we were all, well, we've never done it before, but so we were like, okay, fine. They start doing it. I'm the last one in the line. It gets passed back to me. And of course it immediately doesn't work. They're like, we just saw Pierre go in. Where's your thing? And I was like, fuck. And so then I'm calling Pierre's boyfriend to be like, hey, like it didn't work. Cause they're already in the bar. I'm the only one outside of the bar.
You're calling the bar's landline because this is
honestly, it was like those days. None of them are like, I can even see them, but it's so crowded. They're not answering. And I'm also getting annoyed because I'm like, you guys, why aren't you waiting for me? Like they literally just went in. I couldn't get a hold of them. I didn't have a wallet. And I was like, what is going on? Thankfully, like it was also the days where you did actually carry cash with you in a way that I have not done in 15 years.
I don't even know what it looks like. The only cash I have...
It's Catherine
O'Hara coin. Yeah, exactly. That's the only cash I'm interested in.
Yeah. If I showed that night, I would have gotten in.
Of course, they'd be like, well, you're definitely old enough. Yeah.
Well, so then I'm calling. I finally get a hold of Pierre and I'm like, hey, I can't get in. Like, I don't know what to do. And then he was like, well, I guess like, why don't you just like take a taxi by yourself back to my boyfriend's apartment and like let yourself in and like get your wallet and come back. And I'm like, you're not going to come with me. Like, I'm just like, I was like, okay, I guess. And I was like so annoyed that I was just like, you guys are all like, don't care that I'm doing this. And it was like a 30-minute taxi ride there. And so I was just like, okay, fine. So then I was like annoyed because I was like, what type of friend does that? But I was like, whatever, this is
Sounds
my
like
mess.
something I would do.
Truly. And so I was just like, and so then I was like, whatever, I made this mess. I'm going to go back. I go with my cash, take my taxi to their place. They told me there was like a combination. The combination wasn't working to get into their house. They also had a big golden doodle who gets like very spooked. And so they were texting me, not about like, hey, I'm so sorry this is happening to you, but just being like, whatever you do, like, be like, make sure that the dog is safe, like make sure that he doesn't get spooked. And I was like, yeah, like, but I was also like, can you ask about how I'm doing, like as well, maybe?
Yeah, like, did I get in? Did I
and
find
also
the place okay? Yeah.
And no, it's all just like make sure our golden doodle is fine. And I was also like, I'm not, like we'll be good. But then
He's texting in like broken French.
Truly. And then I can't get in. So I'm calling and I'm getting more annoyed because they're not answering because I'm like, this isn't working. And then they finally call me back. At this point, it's been like a full, like the night's over basically. And I'm like,
yeah. Well,
and
LA
then,
closes at 12 p.m.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so then they finally call me
PM.
back.
Wait, 12 a.m.
Well, I actually thought you did that on purpose. I was like, it is 12 p.m. basically.
Oh,
they
yeah.
realize that they don't know the combo. So then they're like, oh no, like we don't know the combo. And so then I'm like, well, what do I do? Because like, I can't get my wallet if you don't know the combo to get back into your, like they had like a combo where they hid the key, and they're like, okay, if that's not it, then I don't know what it is. So then I'm just like stuck outside their apartment, like / house thing, waiting and then I was like, are you guys going to come back then? Cause like, I can't go back to my house. Like I have to stay here for the night. And they're like, oh, right. And they're like, well, we kind of like, Pierre's boyfriend is like, I never really get to go out. Like I never go to gay bars. Like we kind of want to stay until like it closes, which is going to be like 2 a.m. And it was like literally like 11:40. And I was like, are you kidding me?
That is so rude.
It was so cruel. And so then they literally said the meanest sentences you could say in the English language, which is, well, there's a fat burger nearby. So I then just like walked to the Fat Burger, like didn't have enough money, by the way. I only had a little bit of cash. Like I think I only had enough to get like a small fry, which was like a very traumatizing.
Right, because you just spent it all on the taxi.
Yeah, exactly. And so then waited for them to come back for 2 hours in this Fat Burger alone on a Saturday night. And then they told me that they were going to be like when they were going to get home. So then I like made my way back from the Fat Burger, was just like sitting on the porch, like waiting for them to come in. They come out and they're like, hey, and they were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then I'm like starting to say like, thank you. And then I realized that they are talking, the dog is in the window and they are talking to the dog. They are talking to the dog because the dog was so scared because the dog could see me waiting on the porch and they thought that I was like, and the dog was like kind of nervous about me waiting on the step. And I was like, oh, don't worry, I'm fine. Anyways, this was my last night ever really hanging out with Pierre.
I was going to say, on Monday morning, first thing I do, go to HR. Report Pierre. Because that is sick.
It was truly like, it was the first time I remember being like, oh my God, I can't believe I've been friends with this person all summer long and they like don't care if I live or die.
Yeah.
It was insane. I was home alone twice that night.
That is so, it's so Miss Cleo psychic because it really reminds me a lot of my own story, not to move right along.
No, please.
But of course, famously, my story is also about Home Alone because it is, the most important film in Catherine O'Hara's,
Oeuvre. And
But
our lives.
exactly. So this actually reminds me of yesterday. I believe I was texting you a little bit about this. As mentioned, I've been on the East Coast for a little over a week, and our stay here has been punctuated, perhaps. Like in the middle, we this past weekend we went away for the weekend, and it was a very like jam packed experience, and we didn't get much sleep, but that means that we had to leave our dogs at Vat's parents' place, which they were happy to take care of the dogs, but
This is crazy. It feels like we're about to tell the same story. Okay.
it might be that we're telling very similar stories. But anyways, we were on our way back, and that, he's the busiest person on planet Earth, as you know. And he was saying, like, well, I've got calls all afternoon, back-to-back calls, and he was actually like running late for those. So when we were like pulling up to the house, he's like, I'm going to need you to like take care of the dogs, take them out, but also I need like lunch, if you can make lunch. And I had like a lot of things of my own that I sort of needed to take care of, because again, I had been gone all weekend, and I needed to sort of get back to my own life. But of course, like our dogs, they were really riled up when we walked in because they were so happy to see us. They, Vat's parents were at work, so we didn't really, they were home alone at that point. So we get back, hadn't had any sleep. I hadn't eaten anything. I hadn't even gone to the bathroom, but immediately it's like, okay, well, I've got to take the dogs out. They need to pee. They're going to like pee everywhere if I don't take them out right now. So that, runs upstairs, gets on his calls that he's already late for. And he's like, oh, well, I'm presenting too. So like, I need to like get there. He's like 10 minutes late to this call. So I take the dogs out, and I sort of close the door behind me. And as soon as the door clicks, I remember that Vat's parents, their doors automatically lock from the outside.
No.
And I went, oh shit. Because my husband's been saying he's on calls for the next 4.5 hours.
No.
Back to back. And by the way, he's like, I need lunch soon. So like, can you bring that up?
Well, hopefully that means that he'll start to notice where you've gone.
So I started, texting. I started making calls back to back. No response. And I'm going, like, hey, Vat, like, please let me know you see this. I'm outside. My dogs are getting like really, frustrated. Like they want to go back inside. They need some water. They've done their business. Like we've had enough. And it's like, hey, listen, I've also had enough. Yeah. Like I need to go to the bathroom like you guys.
You need to do your business.
So 5 minutes goes by. Still nothing. I'm calling, hey, can you give me 5 seconds and come open the door? No response. 10 minutes goes by. Hey, can you acknowledge that you've gotten my text? No response.
Oh my God.
Half hour has gone by. By the way, I'm standing there without shoes on as like all of their neighbors are walking back and forth, like looking at this stranger that they've never seen, standing in someone's back door, someone's backyard, banging on the door, going, "Vat, let me in." Vat, who also doesn't live here.
Yeah.
Like,
is there any way to go to the front? You can't go to the front door?
Well, I was barefoot. But also I could have gone to the front door, but it would have been like a whole to do. And then also like, who knows if I would have been able to get to the back again. Yeah. So I just stood outside for a full American hour.
Oh my God.
Before my husband, I see him walking down the hall from like through the glass door. He goes, "Oh, I didn't have my phone on me. I think I left it in the car."
Oh,
so yeah, honey, I was also home alone, but I was outside the home.
You were You were literally out there for as long as the can standing ovations this year.
I was out there almost for as long as like the Mean Girls standing ovation.
You were like already like whittling down wood, like creating weapons, like starting to forage for food.
I was really starting to panic. I didn't have anything. I just had my phone on me, but at least like.
And I'm 100% positive that your phone battery was at 3% because your phone is never charged more than 10%, and it stresses me out. And this is your intervention right now.
Unfortunately, every single night my phone just doesn't charge somehow.
I don't understand how that's possible. And you need a new phone.
Listen, I don't understand it either. I do need a new phone. The screen is cracked. It's really disgusting. But yeah,
you will send me a screenshot of something, and the only thing I take away from the screenshot is I look at your battery percentage, and I'm like, I gasp, and I'm like, Greg, you need to charge your phone.
Every single time. At this point, my screen is so cracked. Like the screenshot shows the crack.
Let's take a break.
Okay. We're back. And it's time for Diva Down. Diva Down, of course, is our last segment where we take a person, place, or thing in the culture right now that really needs our help and advice, whether they asked for it or not, and they never, ever, not once have. But that Diva Down this week is Emma Stone being attacked by a bee on a red carpet at Cannes.
The photos went viral of her, just the way she contorts her body, her face, to get away from this bee in the most glamorous location in the world. And again, like, to this, I actually think it's, even though it's a diva down, fearing for her life, I would say that I'm actually like, I think everyone wins in the situation. Because you get to see Emma's facial reactions just shows just how much she can emote.
Exactly. She's one of the funniest actresses too. She's so Catherine O'Hara in a way. Yep. She really toggles between comedy and drama, and I think this is good because to get her chops out there.
It's like, I think if for all those directors that can, not that she is wanting to for her next role, but it's like just to see what she can do with her face, the way she can in 3 seconds go from happy to terrified to scared to relieved in in 5 seconds flat.
Well, it's
impressive.
Range.
And I would say to the bee, what a diva. The bee knows her moment. She's like, how can I make the biggest splash? She just wanted her photo with Emma. It's like, how can you blame her?
Listen, I agree. Honestly, it's hilarious work. Like, I'm looking for the headline that like the bee got 100-minute standing ovation at Cannes, It's incredible. I mean, like, honestly, I think it's the most exciting thing that's come out of that festival so far.
Absolutely. And also, like, because when a bee stings you, it dies, right?
Right. That would be really tragic.
Well, I'm just saying, if it's stung, what a way to go out. If I was a bee and I was like reaching whatever my lifespan was, where I knew like I only had a couple days left,
right?
I would fly right over to the Cannes steps.
Yep, and immortalize yourself on camera.
Yeah,
at Cannes. Yeah, that's chic. That's very French too. You know, like the really, really chic work.
So my advice is like, just keep it up. Everyone involved. We all win.
Yeah, I agree. See, my advice is like, get that be an 8-figure deal.
Yes.
An 8-picture deal. Honestly,
the bee should have a oneer on the studio.
I agree. Yes, my advice is also to the big agencies in Hollywood. Like, someone needs to sign that bee. Like, the star quality, them going face to face with a 2-time Oscar winner and stealing the scene right out from under her.
I mean, and also, like, so often it's like actors, it's like the amount of the boldness getting right up in your face, like fearless. It's like, that is a star.
Tenacious bee. I think we've got a big diva rising on our hands with the bee. Emma Stone, I'm gonna call diva down, honestly, because like, you've been upstaged, girl.
I am gonna call it right here. on today that this is not the only mention of the bee on this podcast. She is coming around. She is an early contender for someone I might talk about at Christmas time for our year back, you know.
Okay.
Our year in rewind.
Yeah, we will be keeping our eyes on this bee over here at Miss Thing Pod because she's got what it takes. You know, we might be seeing her again. She might be Miss Thing, a future Miss Thing.
Absolutely. Let's get her on the pod as well.
Yeah,
Christopher Columbus and the bee, please come on. At Christopher Columbus, direct the bee.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, and with that,
I think we've said enough. With that, if you're liking what you're hearing, please, can you do us a favor? Go give us 5 stars or above on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening. Be sure to follow and subscribe if you are not already. Please follow us at Miss Thing the Pod on Instagram and TikTok. And
5 stars and above, please rate us. And also, you know, if you're not watching, go to YouTube and subscribe there as well. We love you. We love Cynthia. We miss you, Cynthia.
We'll be watching you when you host the Tonys. Like, we're so excited for all of just the amazing things that you're doing right now. And the decisions you're making, the choices you're making. It's you and the bee in the spotlight right now.
Truly. Yeah.
And with that,
bye.
Miss Thing Podcast is created, executive produced, and hosted by Greg Trimmer and Tim Zintek.
It's produced and edited by Benji Simons, with cover art and additional creative support by Claude Zines.
Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Miss Thing the Pod.
New episodes drop every Tuesday. Watch on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Please subscribe, rate, and review, but only raves. Strictly 5 stars and above.
Follow Greg at Greg Trimmer and Tim at Tim_Zintek on all social media.
BONK.